Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Let's get to it. There it is. Welcome in to the often imitated, never duplicated, original, live, unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free San Jose Sharks podcast. That is the Pucknologists, here to wrap up your week of Sharks hockey, part of Teal Town, USA. Remember to do that like and subscribe thing. Leave your takes in the comments section if you're not with us live in the super chat. And so what had happened was the Sharks went 0-2-1 this week, sitting 31st in the league. What a quick fall. A record of 11-19-6. And this week, well, let's see what happened. The Sharks couldn't hold a third period lead. And then in the next game, they couldn't hold a third period lead. And then in the last game, they were unable to hold a third period lead. And, Brodie Brazil is back, by the way. And speaking of somebody coming back, oh, man, what up, Jerky?
Oh, gabagool. What's going on, my friends?
Oh, man, we got to turn some stuff off here. Oh, man. See, this is what happens when you don't practice things. Oh, I don't have video today. Cool. Dig it. Love it.
Sorry, that makes two of us, right?
Well, you know, it's, maybe I should, it'd be funny to, like, switch to my camera phone. That would be funny. And just be like holding it up and be like, oh, what up, bitches?
I've been returned to the podcast for 12 seconds and the chat is not popping off. It's offensive.
Oh, I know, right? I wonder what happened to my
camera. Okay, see,
this
is just proof. Nobody misses me, so I should just go back to the shadows. Ninja dust. Boom.
Dude. Yeah, so, all right. I guess the camera ain't working for me today. Is that what happened? Yes, you know. Honestly, everybody knows what I look like. Who gives a shit, to be quite fair?
You know what would be incredible? Is I'm really hoping, I want, you know, as somebody who is
fuck it, I'm switching over.
As somebody who is still part of the show and invested and wants everything to grow and succeed and all those kinds of things, it would mean a lot to me as if somebody in the chat was like, who the fuck is this?
It looks like you're getting some cookies up in there. All right. Anyway, before we get into it, a tip of the cap to a Bay Area legend who passed away over the weekend, Ricky Henderson, the man of steel, S-T-E-A-L. Man. That guy just had so many records and everything, but the best story I ever heard, as amazing of an athlete that Ricky Henderson was, from what I understand, not exactly waiting in line to become a member of Mensa, if you get what I'm saying. And evidently after, I don't know, a decade and a half with the Athletics or whatever, he went to another team. He's getting on either like a team bus or a team plane. And evidently, Ricky loved talking about himself in the third person. And he gets on this bus and goes, sees a bunch of people up front, and he goes, "Oh, there's no seat up front for Ricky?" And a coach or somebody goes, "Oh, hey, Rick, you can kick one of the youngsters to the back. You got tenure." And Ricky goes, "No, Ricky got at least 15 year." I feel like you understand what I'm saying. Yes?
Maybe.
All right. Let's get into what happened with the Sharks.
Perchance.
Perchance. I want to see, is the camera working yet? No? No, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with well, let's see what happens if I do this. It's going to be one of those weird days. Oh, okay. Well, shit. This could be a lot of fun. Or it could be really bad.
So not for nothing, but on my side of things, from my view of Skype, your video is just frozen, so I don't really know what transpired there.
Oh, yeah. No, over here, let's see. Oh, okay. All right. I'm having fun with it. We switched to the other cam, and wow, okay, that's weird. Oh, it's also screw it, man. We're going with this weird like MTV thing. Forget it. I don't care. All right, let's see what happened this week with Sharks hockey. We got 3 games. They went 0 for. Oh, man. All right, first game versus Winnipeg. Look, I'm going to give the Sharks credit here. They fought back twice to tie it. They took the lead. And it's not like they did it against a shitty team like Chicago or Nashville. They did it against Winnipeg, the top team at the time. You give them a little bit of credit for that, eh, jerk? No? Oh, wait, did I lose jerk now?
No, I'm here. I'm rusty.
Oh, I was just like, I either lost him or he's screwing with me. It's one or the other.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, I'm somebody who I think, like most, has picked the Winnipeg Jets as their Stanley Cup contender like every year for the last 5 years.
Oh, dude, you've been on Kyle Connor's jock. It's almost tattooed there.
Yeah, well, and I say like this is the year I'm done. I'm not doing it again. But I feel like they've hooked me again where I look at this team and I'm like, this is a really good freaking team. And so to see the way the Sharks were able to battle with them, I mean, Toffoli, Celebrini obviously tying the game up twice each. And then Zetterlund, getting that very brief third period lead. I mean, there's short of winning, there's not much more you can ask for from this Sharks team against this Winnipeg Jets team, if that makes sense.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, what happened in this game that really set it off for me is the Sharks going 0 for 2 on the penalty kill.
Yeah, usually it's the opposite, eh?
Right? So it's like, man, if they could have just stopped one of those, maybe you get at least a charity point out of this. The other thing I want to call out of it, dude, Josh Morrissey's kind of a cowardly bitch, dude. Knocking down Celebrini and then won't answer the bell.
Yeah, I mean, that's
fraud.
I feel like there's a lot of defensemen that kind of pull that maneuver, wouldn't you say?
There could be one or two. But the cool thing, Kovalenko points in 3 straight games with 5 assists, first time in his career. And Celebrini into this one has points 4 consecutive games. You loves to see it. Moving on to the Colorado game, and we get the matchup we were all hoping for, I guess, a week earlier. Georgiev versus Blackwood. Is this?
I mean, we all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But I don't think we knew it was going to be in this, medium. But things happen in weird ways sometimes, and you kind of just got to roll with it.
Well, and it's another game where the Sharks were unable to stop 2 of those power play goals, so the Avs get on top, and then before Kiviranta, I'm sorry, what's his name?
It's pronounced Yoel.
Yoel. Kiviranta nails 2. Special teams, huge story because the Sharks go 0 for 4 and can only kill 2 for 4. Again, the Sharks piss away another lead. That's the 3rd straight. Ruzanowski posting. The Sharks become the first team in NHL history to lose 3 consecutive games in regulation, all at home, after having the lead in the 3rd period. And the other kick to the smalls, Blackwood posting a 941. And it also comes out, oh, by the way, the Sharks have allowed 9 third period goals in their last 4 games.
It's right. It's exactly how we drew it up, right?
Right where we want them.
I would, the other thing, not that the Sharks need any extra motivation from me, but I would just like to point out, former team, obviously goalie swap, the whole operation. I tried to put some positive energy out in the universe for Georgiev. I threw a little scratch, a couple bucks, if you will.
Oh, really?
On the big man to get 29 or more saves in this game. And he had 27. Mm-mm. And I don't know if you take a peek at that score, Avalanche win by 2. You do some mathematics. Interesting. 2 saves short, and they won by 2 goals. It makes you think. So I'm just saying I had my guy.
Dude, I'm telling you. That's how they were able to build that city, my friend.
Don't I know it?
And finally, we get the game yesterday against Edmonton. Askarov getting his 3rd start for the Sharks. Oddly enough, the pregame show described the Edmonton Oilers as the defending Conference Western champions. Okay.
I mean, some things can be correct, but also weirdly stated.
All right. Look, There was some movement. Eklund back on the Lund line, which is, love to see it. Love to see the Lunderful line together. They tend to do some things. Will Smith being demoted to the fourth line. Like, I understand if you're the coach, you're like, I need more from you and whatnot. But if you need more from a guy, is putting him on the fourth line the way to go? Or is it like, hey, what if we gave him some talented line mates?
I was going to say with Will Smith, I think the approach because he's a rookie and obviously has that high skill potential. Like, he's a guy where if you're going to take him out of the top six, it's got to be a load management situation where he either doesn't play and he watches the game, or just send him to the AHL for a quick rip. It's not going to hurt anybody.
That's what I'm saying. If there's a stretch there where it's like the Sharks have maybe a little bump in the schedule, and it happens to align with the Barracuda going on a little bit of a run, yeah, why not let them just go for a rip and just, hey, here's what top line minutes feels like. Go at it.
Right, and the fact that he's had a decent amount of success in the NHL thus far, 11 points in 28 games, you would expect him to go to the AHL and just completely tear it up down there.
Oh, dude, destroy. McDavid assisted, of course, on all 3 Edmonton goals. What else is new? But in what is now the bajillionth game, the Sharks had a lead going into the third, failed to hold on to it. But Askarov, dude, 39 of 42, saved 23 in the second period alone. The only goal to save more in a period in franchise history was Wade Flaherty, who saved 24 in the third period of a game against the Avalanche back in '96, which, when you think about it, is kind of slightly more impressive because the Avalanche would win the Cup a few months later. But
that's a good point. I also think that speaks to, things are a bit different this year, but still how historically terrible the Sharks have been the last couple of years.
Just a little. During that Winnipeg game, Vitek Vanecek did take a puck to the dome. So, of course, Askarov does get the call up. Warsofsky says Vanecek's going to be out at least a couple weeks with a UBI, whatever, upper body injury. It's like we all saw him take the fucking puck off the face, whatever. But with Blackwood gone, Georgiev not doing himself that many favors so far, is this the time to give Yaroslav the rope? Is it time for him to make the jump? Is it in the best interest for the Sharks when playoffs aren't in the picture? And what about building that winning culture with the Barracuda? If you're the guy making the call, jerk, is this the time where you just go, hey, you know what, Askarov, while you're up here and Vitek's sitting down, we're going to give you all the rope in the world. Show us, prove it, that you should not be sent down.
So I like that you specified while Vanecek is injured, because I think that's the key distinction there, where Askarov, and granted, it's a small sample size. I don't think anybody would dispute that. But Askarov has been the best goalie of the 4, if you include Blackwood, that started for the Sharks this year. And so I think while Vanecek is down, I do think it makes sense to roll with Askarov just to, not to say the Sharks are going to make the playoffs or anything, but if they can get more wins and make a lot more saves, who knows what kind of, from a team totality perspective, who knows what kind of boost that could offer. And then also
don't you dare bring up the Blues.
No, of course not. And then Askarov also, as a young player trying to, make strides in the NHL, I don't think there's ever a thing as too much positive experience, too much growth, too much confidence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that hurts. As I said, though, Vanecek being down, that's kind of the key distinction right there, because with him and Georgiev both as unrestricted free agents at year's end, even though goalies generally don't go for much at the deadline, I do think if you're the Sharks, you're hoping one of those guys can maybe catch lightning in a bottle a little bit, similar to Blackwood, where you're not winning games, but you got good stats, and, can be dealt for something, a team, if Connor Hellebuck or Jacob Markstrom or Andrei Vasilevsky, if one of these guys get banged up with something, you could say, hey, you know what, we got a placeholder for you until the playoffs. I think if you're the Sharks, you want one of those 2 guys to be able to rehab their image or rehab their ability and their skill set in a way that could net the Sharks something, even if it's even if you flip Vanecek for a 5th-round pick, right? Like that's still a 5th-round pick you didn't have,
Oh, dude. I mean, the Sharks only gave up a 6 to get Blackwood.
Yeah, and I'm just saying we talked about it a couple of years ago. It might be something to revisit the next time I'm on, but 2 years later, 2 years since we've had this conversation, I still can't think of a big money Mike trade that's gone sideways.
We're going to get to that. I have some things to say.
Because if you remember, we spent a good chunk of time like 2 years ago talking that on a show.
Yeah, no, I definitely have a Money Mike trade, or I shouldn't say trade, but a Money Mike move, shall we say, that in the moment I was kind of like, yeah, I get it. And I'll tell you right now, as it stands a day after the winter solstice, I'm kind of like, oh, this guy, that was not the right move. But before we get there, our buddy Chris coming in hot on the chat saying, oh, jerk appearances rarer than a Bodker goal.
Yeah. I mean, you all asked for it. I saw your emails. You wanted me to quit, so I quit.
And Ryan saying, if you want to keep playing Georgiev. I mean,
I don't disagree, but I also think that's true with Vanecek.
Yeah, I think it's just, if you can just rehab one of these guys, it's huge. Mm-hmm. The thing, let's get into kind of just takeaways from the week. The sheet soiling in the third period has to end already. This is
does it though? Does it?
Well, I mean, what's your end game, Chief? You know what I mean?
I know people are always really kind of weird about draft positioning and all those kinds of things, right? But if you're the Sharks, and people say, oh, if you're going to miss the playoffs, like, be as bad as possible, get a high quality pick, right?
Yeah, if you're going to eat Matt, eat all of it.
Right, but let me pose this query to you is, if you're the Sharks and you're trying to make positive steps forward, do you not think big picture long term it might be better big picture long term if the Sharks finish like 19th in the NHL? Like, yeah, okay, so maybe they're only going to pick, they'll pick whatever, 13th overall, 14th overall, whatever. But would that not be better big picture long term in terms of like growth and positive steps?
I mean, I think it's definitely up for debate. And from what I've understood and hearing things that are coming out of the room, Celebrini fucking hates losing, dude. Like, he is.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah, well, most people, you would think if you're a professional athlete, you're really going to hate it. But there are some people that, it's like insert Jordan meme, like, I took that shit personally. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, Celebrini feels like, oh, man, this cat, he takes that shit personally. So, but I get what you're saying, which to me, this is why I think this is so kind of interesting. The Sharks, dude, of 36 games this season, the Sharks have lost by 1 goal 17 times, nearly half. Now, that's when you toss out the empty netters, because let's be honest, that means fuck all. So where would the Sharks be if they just went 500 in those 17 one-goal losses? So let's just add nine points, right? So 16 points for 8 wins, and then we'll toss in a charity point for that last one. That would give the Sharks currently 37 points right now. Yep. That would move them from 31st, to your point, what you're saying, to 17th in the league. Take them from last to 6th in the division, just 1 point behind Vancouver, just 1 point out of the wild card. This is how close it has been for San Jose this season. Like, once this team gets the one extra save, the one extra goal, the one extra power play or penalty kill, it's going to happen at some point. But good God, man, Timo isn't here anymore. Stop making us pay for the hand pass.
Well, and you look at this team, right? Granlund, Toffoli, Wenberg. These are guys, Cody Ceci, Nico Sturm, right? Barclay Goodrow. Like, these are guys who've played in playoff games before. They've played in tight games, playoff games, Stanley Cup final games, right? And so I know picking 3rd overall, right? That's going to be a lot sexier than picking 15th overall. I don't think anybody's against that per se.
I don't know, in this draft?
But here's the thing. Again, with the idea of like being better long term, I rattled off 5 names, right? But the roster is 23 skaters. So I am kind of the belief that if you're looking like big picture long term, getting Celebrini, Smith, Thrun, Zetterlund, Eklund, all these guys, right?
Dickinson.
Getting them to like know how to win late in a regular season, to feel the to scratch the itch, if you will, that is battling for a playoff spot, right? To get that feeling, right? It's energizing. Where if you say, like, if you finish in the dumpster, it's like, great, another crappy year. But if you can finish sort of, like I said, maybe 19th or 20th in league, you can say, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, we missed again, but from 32nd to 20th, like, that's a jump. Like, we could make the playoffs next year. Like, it's good long term, like from a moral perspective, from a development and growth perspective. Like, I don't think it hurts to finish middle of the pack this year just because of where things are going. And to your point that you made earlier, what if that needing that extra save, right? Being, if you take away, some of these 1-goal losses, right? If you sort of look at it from a different angle, what if the Sharks would ride with Askarov and all of a sudden him in net can kind of complement the way they've played it forward? Like, what if this team does flirt with a wild card spot? I'm not saying it could happen. I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it's more likely now than it's ever been the last 5 years.
My only issue is that, do we want to see a 22-year-old Askarov? Not to say that he hasn't proven himself at the AHL. I just sit there and I'm like, is this, do you really want to let this guy get shelled with how, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The blue line for the Sharks is really bad. Mm-hmm. It is not a good blue, it's like Wallman, absolutely no problems. No problems with what Wallman's doing. And Mukama Doolin, it's going to take a little time, but he'll get there. But I got to tell you, dude, CC, Ferraro, Ruda, and at times Thrun, I've been pretty disappointed.
I think I get what you're saying, and I think I
like Liljegren.
Yeah, I was going to say with Thrun and Liljegren specifically, I think you kind of just have to let things play out, mm-hmm. right? And I mean, and you look at like Liljegren, for example, 7 points in 23 games, which that's not what he's known for, right? What I'm looking at is, in 23 games on the season, he's got 30 blocked shots. He's got 33 hits. I'm not in love with how many giveaways he has compared to how many takeaways he has, mm-hmm. but he's somebody who, in the minutes he's playing and kind of been a guy who's talk about having to rehab your image a bit. He's a guy where I'm more inclined to say, okay, like let's hang in there, let's wait it out, let's see what happens with him versus, like you mentioned, a CC, a Ferraro, etc. And it's the same thing with Henry Thrun. You know what I mean? Henry Thrun, about the same amount of points in the same amount of games, a little bit more block shots, a little bit more hits, less giveaways. So it's kind of a difference where, you could Thrun, Liljegren, CC, Ferraro, like those are 4 guys where you can say, hey, you know what, like all 4 of you kind of need to take a step forward. But I do think with Thrun and Liljegren specifically, because of where they're at in their age and their development and all that kind of stuff, I do think they should be afforded the benefit of, letting things play out a little bit more and given the opportunity to kind of work through the kinks. Whereas Ferraro and CC, like if you're not hitting the ground running, like you're going to get jumped over real quick.
Yeah. What is it you say you do here?
Mm-hmm.
And a guy and his dog's pointing out a name we didn't even mention, Jack Thompson.
Yeah.
So, and that's a guy that I've really liked in that 5-6 spot. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that at some point they're going to put Vlasic on the ice, for better or worse.
Who knows? Maybe playing 2/3 of a season, maybe that would be a net good for him.
It could be. I'm just saying that it all comes down to what is best for Askarov, and I just wonder, like, this poor guy. And the thing is, though, post game following Edmonton, where you got shelled for 23 in one period, he's nothing but smiles. Like, and dude, I understand goalies have a reputation of being a little like left to center, like a little woof off the beaten path.
Sure.
Dude, Askarov seems like he's a fucking nut. Like, and I say that in the most like complimentary way. You know, goalies have a little, they're a little loopy, but this guy's just like, you know, I can't believe they only got 23 shots off. I could have saved more. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The guy has just a set of brass ones. So again, it's like, I think you can sit there and debate it back and forth. Like, should he be with the Sharks, but would it be better for the organizations? And I say that, you know, Cuda and Sharks, would it be better if Yaroslav was just with the Cuda for the majority of this season? Maybe it helps the Cuda make a run for the Calder. You know, I mean, they're second place in their division right now. They've played pretty well with the exception of this week. But aside from that, they've actually played very well. I think it's one of those things where you give him that rope with Vitek out, and when Vitek's ready to come back, you reassess and go, how did we do with Yaroslav in there? Is this something that we need to pursue now? Or, you know, do we go back to what it was?
I think it's like you said, where you kind of ride it out. You ride it out as long as Vanecek is hurt.
There you go. We got a super chat from Skyler. Any chance the Sharks move on from Ferraro?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance of something, but I don't. Doesn't he have one more year contractually?
He has, one more year after this year, and it all. I mean,
so I will say, yes, the Sharks will move on during the 2026 trade deadline.
Here's the thing, though. Like, we said the same thing about Hurdle and about Meyer and about all these guys. Like, we've said it so many times over the years. Like, it all depends on what the roadmap looks like. You know what I mean? Because if next year is the year to push for a playoff spot, and I'm not necessarily advocating for this, but if next year is the year to push for a playoff spot, I could see the Sharks be like, hey, you've been a loyal soldier the entire time we've been terrible. Let's get you locked up and make you part of the operation here, right? But if it's going to be another situation where it's like, yeah, we're going to see what happens, who really knows? You know, like Ferraro, like I know when Ferraro came in, it was like, oh, he's 19 and he's playing. What an awesome situation.
Oh, he's such a shot blocker.
Yeah, he's 26 now. So eventually he's going to start thinking like, okay, like I'm 26, but I'm not 20. So, and like I said, I'm not necessarily advocating for this. I do think as much as I'm not a Mario Ferraro guy, I do recognize the positives that he could bring to a team. And I know a lot of teams around the league think very highly of him. So it might be a situation where Gruyere needs to, maybe pull that trigger now while he can.
California Crew's in asking, does Ferraro have trade value?
Yeah, absolutely he does. Like I said, a lot of teams around the league value him. Like, I mean, a left-handed defenseman, 26, like you said, blocks shots like an animal. Like
and has a motor that doesn't stop.
Right. That's a guy that a lot of people would say, okay, maybe we don't, there might be these two or three certain situations that like we're not in love with your game, but in totality, I think a lot of teams would be dying to get their hands on someone like Mario Ferraro, especially because he's obviously got the leadership capabilities. He's a kind of a glue guy, fun guy in the locker room.
Super positive.
Blocks a lot of shots, right? I mean, this year, just doing a quick calculation, he is on pace to block. He's
a bajillion.
Yeah, he's on pace to block 118 shots this year, which is nowhere near his career high, but is still an impressive number nonetheless. He's also, if you look at the stats, right, his takeaway to giveaway ratio, again, it's still not where I would want it to be, but it is better than it's been in the last couple of years. So I absolutely think he has value, and I think there would be a handful of teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, where around the playoff time, they love to get kind of a grittier player. Like, I think there would be a list of teams that would line up for his services.
I completely agree, dude. Crafty Koala in the chat said, "The hell is this? Jerk and AJ again on a Sunday? Is this a rerun?"
Yeah, we actually we here a podcast insert. We taped this in January of 2020. So there you
go. we knew the future.
Yeah.
Reportedly from Shank, Fabian Zetterlund and the Sharks have begun contract extension talks. What are you comfortable with? Where's he at now? Is it 25?
You're talking about age?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Zetterlund is 25 right now. He just, let me see. Did he just turn 25? It doesn't say.
And
That's weird.
Part of the Timo Meier trade.
Which, man, you talk about letting things play out, man.
Dude.
I feel a lot better than I did 2 years ago.
Oh, dude, you still got that pinned tweet?
I do, but I'm actually thinking about just swapping it out.
There you go.
I mean, Zetterlund's at, what is he at? He's at 1.45 right now, which for a guy who had 24 goals last year and is going to be on pace for maybe 25, 26 this year, like, he's been on a bargain of a deal the last couple of years. Like, I see no reason to screw around with this one. That's not to say it's going to be 8 years, $8 million, like none of that shit, right?
No. But what? How do you feel about, say, 5.5 by 7?
I'm fine with the term because he's 25. I'm a little bit sussed out by the dollar amount no, you know what? I take that back. I would be in favor of that because, like, 5.5 now is like 10 years ago. So, I would sign that deal tomorrow. Not that Mike Greer needs my permission or anything.
Or
but
just 5 by 7.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, again, like 24 goals last year. He's got 11 this year, which if you crunch the numbers on that one, you're looking at like 25, 26 goals thereabouts,
and dude seems to be super happy here.
Yeah, I mean he's like part of like the whole culture, like him and Eklund are buddies, and that's obviously a really good thing. But you look at kind of in some more, you go a little bit into the weeds, right? Zetterlund is actually on pace for more goals this year than he had last year, and he's playing a minute and a half less of ice time, and he's taken far fewer shots than he did last year. So
that's impressive. So that shot percentage is good. I got to tell you, though, a guy and his dogs in the chat is saying no, 3.5 max.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
necessarily disagree with that.
I don't disagree with it. But
look at Wenberg, look at Goodrow, look at Cunnin.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like there's going to be another team that's going to come in and say, okay, well, we'll do 3.8. I mean, maybe Zetterlund, if Money Mike can like talk him into taking the hometown discount,
I'll tell you this though. If I'm Greer, and shout out to Shang, by the way, for throwing this out there, the news of the I guess negotiations, if you want to call it, or the report of the negotiations, because if I'm Mike Greer and if I'm the Sharks, dude, I want to bang this shit out as quickly as I can.
Oh yeah,
because Zetterlund is arbitration eligible, and so he had 24 goals last year, and if the math works out the way it's set right now, he's gonna have 25 or 26 this year in less ice time and less shots on goal per game, only making $1.5 million. He's gonna go to that arbitration hearing, and he is going to have a lot to say, and I don't think anybody's gonna be able to dispute it. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I totally agree with you, but I mean, you look at it. What's the going rate for a winger on the top line? And I mean, I think you can make some arguments. Like on some games, it's the Lunderful line, as I like to call it. Eklund, Granlund, Zetterlund, the all Lund line, whatever you want to call it. Some people will look at that and say that's the top line. Some people will look and say, oh, what are you smoking? It's Celebrini, Toffoli, and Kovalenko. Whatever. Either way, top 6 guy who's posting points at a pretty consistent rate. I mean, you think about it, Zetterlund and Celebrini seem to be like the only 2 guys at forward that haven't gotten some sort of, doghouse for a hot second. Oh no, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Zetterlund did get a demotion for a hot second. So either way, he has played very well. I'm just top 6 guy doing what he's doing at that age. Maybe like, what do you sacrifice? Do you sacrifice term for money, or you sacrifice money for term?
I do think this. I do think. I mean, I like 7 years. I'm generally of the belief. I'm generally of the belief that when you have a good player that's young, you should probably try to lock them up as long as you can. But at the same time, if he's 25 now, and when this contract expires at, hypothetically, right, the one we're debating here, if he were to expire at 32 years old, I personally think I would be fine with that. I think you would be fine with that. But I can understand a lot of people that might be sussed out by that. And he's had 2 really good years, but at the same time, it would not surprise me if there were some who were maybe like, hey, we love you, we want to keep you. 7's a bit rich. Could we take you to 29? Could we take you to 30? I wouldn't, that wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't hate it if that's what ended up happening either.
Okay, now a guy and his dog coming in with a spicy meatball. You ready?
Yeah.
Says if you can get Zetterlund 4 for 4, and then it ends up making him a trade piece towards the end, and he's saying he's going to be a third-line player soon, if not already.
Why, though?
Because, right. I mean, you get him, I guess, in his prime, and and at the end of it, it's, in that 4th year, he's, on the trade block.
Why, though, right? Like, why does he have to be?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So, a guy and his dogs, I invite you to continue this conversation. It's hockey_jerk10 at Gmail.
No, I think, like, I mean, I get it. Like, you and I are of the belief, like, anybody can be a trade chip, right?
Sure.
But I am kind of thinking, like, with Zetterlund, like, I see, as things stand right now, I see no reason for him to be a trade chip. I mean, if you can, going forward, when I say going forward, I mean the next 3 years, right? If you can roll out, Toffoli, Zetterlund, Macklin, Smith, Celebrini, and then maybe you bring Mikael Granlund back, right?
Love that.
That's a pretty tasty group of 6 guys. And I don't think there's anybody on there, at least in this current form. I don't think there's anybody in there that's going to be like, oh, man, wow, what a rip this guy's on. But it is a very solid group of 6 guys, and I see no reason to subtract from that necessarily, right? Now, if there's a situation where maybe the Sharks really want to get aggressive, and this is just a name, I'm not this particular player, but just a player of this clout. If it was a situation where it's like, hey, Mikko Rantanen is available, hey, David Pastrnak is available, that's where I think you would say, okay, Zetterlund plus this, boom, here you go, let's get Mikko Rantanen in play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only scenario where I see it makes sense, is if you use him to add. But if the idea is like, yeah, trade him for picks, I just don't know how that makes sense, because he's 25. Like, he's going to be part of the solution.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at as well. And what's funny is a guy and his dog says, look at wing incoming. You have Musty, you have Aaltonen.
That's a good point.
That's a good point, but I still think that's a couple years out. You know what I mean?
Not guaranteed either. Either of those guys could flame out. Exactly.
So I feel like, dance with the one that brung you kind of a thing, and Malachi Shark, I think it's if anyone is a trade chip, it's Sturm. Yeah, nobody's discount. No one's saying that it isn't. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. That yes, Sturm is definitely very high. To me, Sturm is somebody that you can move. What is Sturm? Is 27, 28?
29.
Oh wow, 29. Yeah. So to me, I think if you can find somebody who wants to take Sturm, and that's going to give you. And a guy and his dog's making my point, saying he's a trade now guy. I completely agree with that. The thing, let's say this one final thing about Zetterlund and moved on. The thing that gets me is like a guy and his dog said for Zetterlund 3.5 max. You have to take into account that we're talking about a franchise that gave over $4 million to Kevin LeBanc.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point.
Right?
But you look at also the like just where things are going, right? With the salary cap, you know what I mean? Like
everything
the fact
always
that
goes up, baby.
It's, I mean, especially like it's already, we're at we're at 80. What is it? No, I'm sorry. We're at, what are we at? 88 this year. And then,
well, it's saying like 92 and a half next season.
Right, 92 and a half next year, and that's a more conservative estimate. Like, depending on how things go, it could easily be 93, 94, right? And then you keep compounding this, and eventually over time, like, and we said we said the same thing with Erik Karlsson, and then like look what happened. Right?
Who?
But But eventually, like the rate that the salary cap is going up, like a lot of these contracts are going to eventually be drops in the bucket. You know what I mean? Like for example, Tyler Toffoli making $6 million right now. That is not even a blip on my radar. But 10 years ago, I might have been like, oh gosh, you know?
Yeah.
And so I kind of think things change, right? And you mentioned it as well, Kevin LeBanc, and then even Luke Cunn and Barclay Goodrow on the team now. Like the floor goes up, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The floor goes up, and so the guys, the floor goes up and the ceiling goes up, and so the guys in the middle, they either get taken care of or they get jammed, And in the case of Fabian Zetterlund, I'm super happy for him to get taken care of.
Oh, dude. Okay, so all right, two quick ones. Well, okay, one quick one. One long one. Malachi, I'm sure I'm fucking that up. Sorry, buddy.
Malachi
Shark. Okay. Oh, shit. Look at you. Malachi Shark. What do you think about Clean Shady? I'm a clean guy. If he can stay healthy, I think he's a decent piece to have in the bottom six because, look, he's not Steve Downey. He's not going to, like, put up a bunch of offensive points while also, like, smacking bitches around who try to take liberties with your youth. But I do feel like he could be that kind of, I'm not going to say John Scott, but he could be a little bit of that deterrent that, like we saw with Josh Morrissey. If you're going to take a liberty with Smith or Celebrini, I feel like Costin is the guy that could make those type of plays. Those are going to be the ones that answer the bell.
Yeah, and I think with Clem Shady and with anybody who kind of fits that sort of bill, it's all about tempering your expectations, right? If he comes in, let's say he resigns, just for argument's sake, say he resigns at exactly what he's making right now, $2 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's going to be on the fourth line, or perhaps a guy who rotates in and out with everybody else who's there, and you kind of have to accept him for what he is. You know what I mean? Like if
Malachi's saying we should trade him for Rempe.
Oh my gosh!
I don't even know that Rempe is going to be able to stay in the league the way things are going. But go ahead.
Like if you sign Clem Shady, say again, you give him $2 million, give him exactly what he's at right now. He's going to be on your fourth line. A guy maybe he hits the press box every now and again. Like guys like that. Guys like that, like 7 goals. Like 7 goals is what you should be hoping for out of guys like that. Like I've made the adage before, 1 goal per month when you're in that role, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's it's part of the reason why I was a big defender of Nico Sturm a couple of years ago, because it's like they're doing like okay, it's January, let's just say that at the time, talking 2 years ago, it's January and Nico Sturm had, I think, 4 or 5 goals on the year, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, this guy sucks! Only 4 goals." But
yeah, but during that
that's
same,
exactly what you're looking for.
But the one thing that they don't say is during that same stretch, he was like 68% in the dot, and even better in defensive zone faceoffs.
Right, and so Clem right now, so like Clem Shady at $2 million right now, I don't think it would hurt the team, but I think you can get better value for $2 million elsewhere. So
all right.
I like Clem Shady, and if he can do so when he joined the Sharks, obviously he was super hot, 5 goals in 19 games, and then this year right now, he's only got 1 goal in 20 games. So I think if he ended up somewhere in between those two guardrails, I think that's a player worth having.
He also has had, a little bit of issue with injury. I also think he had to bark his way out of the doghouse a little bit, but I like what I've seen from him so far. The spicy meatball coming in from Tony Couture, I'm going to send your way, says, are the Sharks overexposed with 8 Russian citizen players who may get sidelined by sanctions? Kovalenko, Askarov, Georgiev, Mukhamadullin, Kostin, however you want to say it, Gushin, Chernishev, Romanov. Is Greer too red?
No, I don't think that's a concern.
I was going to say, I'm not. Yeah, that's that's one of those things where it's like, let's worry when something actually happens.
Yeah, well, if something actually happens.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get there when we have to get there. This was something that I just found so much comical. The fact that Warsofsky was fined early in the week, $25,000, bro, for criticizing the officials for their. I mean, dude, let's be honest, dude. The efforts versus Utah last Saturday were horrific, and we do not. You know, what was your line? Like, we do. What did you used to say? Something about we don't talk shit about Balsers in this house. What was it?
Oh, we don't disparage Balsers in this house.
Yeah, and it's like we, for the most part, in this house, we don't talk about the officiating. But last Saturday, they brought it upon themselves. The post-game comments from Warsofsky was, "I'm not going to talk about officiating." So you're like, how the hell did he get fined $25,000? Well, if you watched him on the bench at the end of the game, he clearly said to an official multiple times, "You fucking pussy." Now, my point being, if that's all it takes to get a $25,000 fine, you have to be kidding me, because I've seen Vlasic say way worse. I mean, good Lord. I don't even know what we're doing here. Winnipeg, speaking of that game, following Utah, tickets distributed just under 11,000, but a thread was started on social media saying there was no more than 8,000, asking where the fans were, and the vast majority of the responses were, "Bitch, you know how much it costs to go to a game?" And it's like $40 to park. Then you want to get a slice and chicken tenders, or you want to get a couple drinks, and all of a sudden you've already dropped $100. And I believe it was you on the social talking about the owner of the Suns gets it. Not everyone is elite. Help out the blue collar crowd. This guy's got he's like McDonald's up here with a $2 value menu. You know,
old McDonald's.
Yeah, but $2 hot dogs, $2 waters, $2 fountain drinks, $2 bag of chips. I don't know if they're going to be your what's the girl?
Oh, Miss Vicky's?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be Vicky's, but, $2 bag of chips, $2 bag of popcorn. And then it threw me back to, remember when the Atlanta Falcons did this for a little bit, where they had the $2 dogs, $2 drinks and popcorn. You got $3 waffle fries, pizza slices, $5 burgers, $5 draft beers. So it's kind of like, hey, man, like, not everybody's elite. Help out the blue collar crew. You know, it's like, I'd love to see whatever the Suns and the Falcons are doing. I'd love to see that make their way across all the different leagues. Hey, $2 Tuesdays. That could be fun.
And here's the thing. I will say this. Your point about how much the game costs, like, with all encompassing, like, it's a valid point. And I do think a lot of those things you're describing, I do think they are far too expensive. That said, I am also kind of the belief that, like, we all know at this point, like, what any sporting event, concert, amusement park, whatever, like, it's gonna be ridiculous like that. So I kind of feel like at a certain point, you, the consumer, needs to say, okay, I'm gonna play the game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm going to drive to the light rail station, and I'm going to take the train to Diridon. Then I'm going to go to Whole Foods and grab 3 beers instead of 1. And then maybe on my way out, maybe I'll stop at, I don't know, maybe I'll go over to the Coleman Shopping Center and I'll hit BJ's for a Pizookie. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you know, I do think you are right. Things are far too expensive in sporting events, concerts, amusement parks, that kind of stuff. But also, like, I feel like at a certain point you got to say, this is reality. I don't like it, but it is what it is. I'm going to play the game my own way to get a good deal.
Well, and it's that whole thing of, I mean, like Chris bringing up Costco. I mean, Chris, dude, Costco, how long has Costco been losing money on that hot dog that they sell?
Decades.
Right? That's their loss leader. That's the thing that gets you in the barn. So it's like, have that loss leader, have that thing that gets some people into the barns. My big thing, though, it's like, if you can afford to pay Juan Soto $750 million to play baseball, maybe you can take 20% off the top of food and drink. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and have you seen the CEO of Costco? Have you seen his famous quotes on raising the price of the hot dog?
Oh, it was something like, like I will die before that happens.
No, well, yes, but he was like, if you raise the price of the hot dog, I will kill you. Figure it out.
Exactly.
In the world of McDonald's and Taco Bell and all these like average establishments being the price of like Outback Steakhouse.
Right.
Like, be Costco, be Arizona Iced Tea, be In-N-Out Burger. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, you don't have to do it on everything, but have a couple things. And I hope that nobody thinks that I'm like singling out the Sharks. This is like sports and concert venues at large.
Yeah.
You know, like
amusement parks, like all that shit.
Yeah, like have a couple value things that somebody who doesn't want to dump $18 for a burger and really marginal fries. Like just have something out there for the Wu-Tang for the kids. Give something for the kids. Oh, and and this probably really doesn't help what we're talking about. Speaking of the blue collar crowd, oh my God, Celebrini's jersey from the Jumbo retirement game went up on the auction block.
Okay.
Would you like to guess what that sold for?
I actually think I saw it. Wasn't it like 16 grand or something like that?
Dude, $16,100.
Jeez, dude.
And I'm looking at that and I'm going, I'm like, I think about the vacation that you could have with
right.
You and your wife. Hey, maybe a few mortgage payments, maybe a nice slice of Apple stock that is just going to grow in value. And it's like
down payment on a car,
right? And it's like, and I'm not telling you how to spend your money. By all means, do you. And I have a pretty good idea who bought that jersey.
I think everybody on planet Earth has a good idea.
But I'm just saying, I've yet to see any of these jerseys that sell for these ridiculous prices not eventually go for a loss. You know what I mean? So it's like, enjoy it. I don't know that you're ever going to see that money back. You might end up selling that for half of what you bought it for, or who knows, you might sell it for double. But the fact that we're spending 16 grand on a jersey, that dude literally, like this guy, Celebrini, he sat there watching Joe Thornton's number being retired, and then he skated in warm-ups in this jersey. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't do anything in this. But fine. What, so, like, what I think a cool jersey would be to have is like maybe like the Timo Meier 5 goals against LA. Like, that seems like a significant jersey. Yay?
Yeah, anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Celebrini's first goal. Will Smith's first goal. Like any of those, anything that has some kind of significance attached to it, right? But like if it's like, oh yeah, like Celebrini maybe wore this in a third period one time, it's like, all right, too many it's like too many check boxes. Like just say Celebrini jersey.
Right. And then the thing that even gets you going a little bit further, dude, they had the inflatable. What the hell was what was the name of that? Inflatable.
Holiday
inflatables. Yeah, they had the video. All the guys are wearing these Merry Sharksmith sweaters.
Dude, I want that sweater.
That you can get for $32 on Amazon. But the one that Celebrini evidently wore in the video and signed right now going for $1,000.
Jeez.
And it ends tomorrow at 2:00, I believe. But either way, it's like not to, okay, he wore it, sure, in the video, that's fine. But let's be honest. Like, if you want to be that guy, you can spend $32 at Amazon, get them to send you the sweatshirt, and then you take it to a Sharks practice or have Celebrini sign it. You literally have the same thing for $32 that somebody else paid over $1,000 for.
Dude, okay,
you know what I mean?
This might expose my attention to detail this season. Dude, I was looking at Sharks Pro Shop, like, when are they putting the fucking sweater up? I didn't realize it was a generic Amazon one.
Dude, that's the whole thing. It was totally, I didn't know either until somebody mentioned it on Reddit, and they posted the link. They're like, bro, you can buy this for $30.
Yeah, I might do it.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I need to check my size and see which one I got to get here. But
that's the thing. If you get it off Amazon, you can get the one that you can actually wear.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just
give
saying,
that a little look, see,
dude. Give it a look,
this is
dude.
a sharp tarp, dude.
I'm saying it. I mean, dude, I love capitalism. This is fantastic.
Sure.
You know, but I'm just saying, you can spend $32 and then take it to an event, have Celebrini sign it, and it's like, okay, yeah, he wore it in the video or whatever. And if the Sharks are smart, and I'm sure they are, there is something inside that sweatshirt that, you know, it's a tag that said, you know, like holiday inflatables worn, Celebrini, you know, it's got some sort of thing. But anyway, let's move up to something that we haven't done. Oh, it's so long. Ferda boys, stock up, baby. Stock up, stock down, hero zero, however you want to call it. Dude, stock up for me this week. There's going to be a lot of people that go, really? I'm saying it. Luke Cunnin, brother. 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points over 3 games, all at even strength. During that same time, a +2, a 25% shooting percentage, 62% in the dot. Solid numbers for a guy who played on the 4th line in 2 of the 3 games this week, averaging just over 13 minutes per game. This is a 27-year-old right-handed shot and a UFA making $2.7 million. I'm saying Luke Cunnin, keep upping that trade value, Chief.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I know it's easy to hate on him, right? But he's been very good lately. He's putting up goals, and it's kind of hard to complain about that, right?
Yeah. Do you have anybody else that you would name?
Stock up. I kind of have a goofy one. I'll be completely honest.
Ferda boys.
I want to do Ryan Warsofsky because
really.
So let me explain why.
And dude, show your math.
On this matter, I am a single issue candidate. I will be straight up.
I feel that.
So I think if you've been listening to this podcast as long as it's been done, whether it's with me or without me, I pretty famously am not a fan of the way NHL officials are kind of shielded from accountability, responsibility, ownership, these kinds of things.
Dude, did you see Tara Sloan's Twitter after the Utah game, dude?
Yeah. And so, you know, you have like the players, the coaches, the managers, the owners, the fans, the staff, like everybody is held accountable. And the officiating, it's like, okay, whatever, right? I'll never forget. It was a game, I believe it involved, I don't know if it involved Tyler Toffoli, but it was the team Tyler Toffoli was on at the time. Where a player said to a referee, hey, that's a shit call, that's a bad call, whatever. That player got fined for officiating related comments. The part they don't tell you is that referee in response said, go fuck yourself, and they didn't get anything.
Exactly my point.
There are I'm sure tens of examples that fit exactly that criteria I put forward. So why Ryan Warsofsky gets my stock up bug or windshield hero of the week is because he called out the officiating and, you know, took the fine, and by everything I've heard, you know, did not come back and be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I was trying to say it. No, he's just like, yeah, whatever.
No, fuck those guys.
And I appreciate that.
I'm with you. I saw something on here. Big Bird. I'm not even sure how to answer this. This is AJ. Any news on the player jerseys being the real deal or high price fakes? Dresses.
Like the Fanatics made in Canada's.
They're legit. I was
gonna say
if it says made in Canada, the shit's legit.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
Although from what I understand, those are still they're available, but not super available. From what I understand.
Correct. That's what I've seen as well. Yeah. But just the fact that they're available at all, I think we're all like, yeah, about time.
Hell yeah.
All right. Figured out. Stock down. Zeros. Whatever. I got 2.
Bug.
Yeah. Bug. I got 2. I kind of mentioned it already. The PK. I mean, just what a huge difference this week. Allowed 2 power play goals in both the Winnipeg and Colorado games. Would have been the difference in both games. I mean, they were 50% this week on the kill. You're lucky you only lost 3 games.
Yeah.
And my other one is, dude, and this goes back to a name that you had mentioned about a half hour ago. So Barclay Goodrow, like, dude, I know you're all butthurt about how you ended up back in San Jose, but dude, I'm not noticing you at all. And at $3.6 million over 3 years, I'm comfy saying this, and this is going back to what we were saying when it came to deals that Money Mike has made. Right now, when it comes to return on investment, worst deal that Money Mike has signed.
Well, yeah, I mean, he made the mistake of claiming him off of waivers. Like he should have bent New York over the barrel and been like, yeah, we'll take him off your hands, but it's going to cost you a tasty little piece.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of a goofed opportunity there. I'll give you that one.
Whew. Yeah, I've not, and the fact that Goodrow has gotten some looks like on the top line, and it's not
because he's a veteran and he's been there before. And all
exactly, it has nothing to do with him being a veteran. It has to do with we're teaching somebody else a lesson, and so Goodrow, you're getting the ancillary collateral out of this, like. Ugh. I don't know. Anyway, somebody that you're kind of like, figure it out.
Again, kind of be a single issue candidate on this one.
Sure.
The team defense, like as a whole, I look right. You look at the game, excuse me, the game against Winnipeg, 73 seconds left in the game. Boom, goal for Winnipeg to take the lead. You look at the game against Colorado. Yeah, only 6 and change left, but still waning moments of the game, right? You look at the game against Edmonton. 18 seconds left, and then obviously 18 seconds into overtime. Which I'm not gonna say I didn't throw some scratch on Edmonton to win when they were losing. But anyway, besides the point. The team defense, like again, I talked earlier about learning how to win, learning how to play the right way, and all these kinds of things. Squandering leads multiple games in a row when it's in the waning moments of the game, like that's something that needs to be removed. And that's not to say that, like, obviously it happens to every team. Nobody's saying that it doesn't, but as many
four times in a row,
right? 4 times in a row is a bit out of control. And so you would like,
that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern.
Right. And when it's the waning moments of the game, you can't take your foot off the gas, because then these good teams, Winnipeg, Colorado, Edmonton, these are really good teams. Like, you have to be stuck to them for the whole 60 minutes. Otherwise, they're going to just burn you, Oh.
All right. So what else happened? Well, let's see. As we alluded to, if you were paying attention, by the way, last week, we did tell you that the Sharks were going to make an announcement, and it was made official last Wednesday that Brodie Brazil has joined the Sharks. It will be producing content on their digital platforms, YouTube, TikTok, all the usual social stuff. But I spoke with him on Friday. We did a podcast about it, got all the details. Make sure you go check out that cast. However, it should be noted, Brodie is returning to the game, is returning to the Sharks. He's not returning to the game broadcast, so just let that fever dream go. He's hired by the Sharks, not NBCSN. And the great thing, Jerk, is that the responses have been overwhelmingly positive on like Reddit threads. And it was like, yes, happy he's back. Hey, we love Brodie. And then like after like 78 responses, there was a single post of no, which I was like, oh, that's Jerk's burner.
I was going to say, dude, why are you exposing that I have a Reddit account?
Speaking of NBCSN, which I tend to do every week now, here we fucking go again, dude. During the Winnipeg game, NBCSN, let's get these graphics up, because they shit the bed all sorts of different ways. They blew the graphics during both pre and post, by the way. During pregame, they have a shot of Kovalenko, who, oh, by the way, wears 15, but the graphics department felt more comfortable putting him at 9 for whatever reason. And then when it was time to look at post-game, they said, well, we can't just fuck up Kovalenko's numbers. We have to screw up more numbers. And at first, in this Lamplighters graphic, I got to be honest with you, when I first saw the numbers, I was just like, that must mean something. Like, maybe, does it mean assists? Does it mean shifts? Like, nope, because if you scroll down, or you make your way towards the end where it says Celebrini, you see the 71 there. But next to Tyler Toffoli, a 5. Don't ever remember him wearing that. Mikhail Granlund, 1. It's weird. I would have swore I saw him wearing 64. Fabian Zetterlund, 3. Swear I saw him wearing 20 most of the time here. So all of those.
So the numbers you're saying are actually pretty close to their ranking and scoring on the team.
I don't think Macklin Celebrini's 71st on the team.
That's a good point. That is a solid point. But you know what, though? Granlund is first. Zetterlund is currently 5th. Toffoli's currently 6th, but, they may have dropped a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, see,
it is interesting, though. I do see your point, though. That is weirdly specific.
Yeah, where it's just like, what the fuck do these know? Like, what are you guys doing over here? And then the funny thing is when it was time to go to the post-game comments from Warsofsky, they didn't have any audio, and they go back to Hashida and I believe it was Jamal Mayers that were at the tank. Wow, did they look uncomfortable. And then, it's like, if that wasn't cool enough, if that, yesterday, following the Edmonton. But you know what? Facts matter. Get it right. And I've said this on my Twitter. Don't be mad if you're. I know NBCSN Sharks follows me on Twitter. I don't know if they see the things that I'm posting about this. Don't be mad that I'm highlighting these things. Be mad that you keep making these same simple mistakes. The fact that I can call this out without even blinking. And I'm just the problem is that people that don't usually pay attention to this shit are DMing me going, dude, did you see what they did now? Like, that says a lot. So I'm not saying anybody should be fired. I'm just saying that normally when people do their job this poorly, they're moved to a different position, shown the door, whatever. Not to mention Warsofsky's comments they keep getting cut off early so the network can get to a pre-recorded football gambling segment or something. It's just, ugh. Whenever, you know what? At this point, let's just do this. Whenever they fuck up, let's just run this clip for the new.
Allen! 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 Al! Allen! Allen! Allen!
Can we just do that? Just call it out. Allen! But I'll tell you, if I'm the Sharks, dude, I'm pissed about how this broadcast has declined since Brodie and I don't know how many people in the background were given pink slips. Because, dude, Randy.
I'm surprised you think that's when it started.
Well, you're right.
I mean, dude, I don't even watch the games on this channel anymore. Like.
Oh, hold on. All of a sudden, I'm seeing a couple things that says no audio. What happened? I'm seeing the little audio thing going up. Do we not have audio? What's going on? Was that the hold on. Was that the Askarov clip?
The video. I think it was the video.
Yeah, no. It was the Askarov clip. My bad. I hit the wrong thing. Let's see if the other one made it. And nope, that one's good too. So yeah, my bad. It was the Askarov clip. Again, let's just go to Al.
Allen! 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 Al!
I love that. But either way, if I'm the Sharks the Sharks, I'm pissed off because you have Randy and Drew, an award-winning duo. The addition of Tara Sloan has been top tier, but the majority of social media chatter about the broadcast is wholly negative, whether it's about them not liking the new host, whether it's about them not liking all these behind-the-scenes mistakes. It just makes you wonder how much longer this is going to last, and will they make it to the end of their TV deal in 28? And maybe they won't. Why? Because that was a little stick tap, little doff of the cap to Curtis. Dude, have you seen what is going on with the Ducks and the Stars doing their own shit? Viewership for the Stars has tripled using Victory Plus. For the Ducks, it's quadrupled.
Let me ask you something.
Say it.
Do you know, you probably do, you're a smart guy. Do you know the best ability?
Well, I feel like this is an easy answer, but I don't know about the way that it was phrased. So what are we looking at here?
The best ability is availability.
Oh, hell lah.
So if you're able to jump onto a free live and on-demand sports website or download an app or anything like that, that's much more available than having to have cable, having to have the NHL package and all these kinds of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's more easily available, you're going to have more eyeballs on it.
I'm just saying, I think a lot of people are looking at that. And
this
again,
is your sign. Teal Town USA says cancel your cable subscription. I haven't had cable in fucking 10 years, and I am great.
Dude, I shifted to YouTube TV, I think, like...
Yeah, that's what we have too.
Yeah, I think I shifted to that about like 4 years ago. And I'm just kind of like... And you know what? To be honest, the platforms that were also subscribed... You know, it's funny. Like, you think about that whole be careful what you wish for. When you're on... we were on DirecTV beforehand. And Sherry, she... has her show. She's got her FBIs and her Chicagos and all of those things that she enjoys on DirecTV. She would, record all of those shows and blah, 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 blah. Well, I used to resent the whole thing. It's like, why do I have like 400 through 499 is nothing but foreign language channels? Why am I subsidizing this? I don't watch any of these. Or why am I paying for like the home shopping network? I never watch each. I want a la carte. I want to pay for the shows that I want. Well, we kind of got there in these platforms, but if you think about it, paying just as much because it's like, oh, I got to have Max, and then I got to have Peacock, and then I got to have Paramount, and I got to have Netflix, and blah, 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 blah. But at this point, the only reason why I'm paying for YouTube TV is to watch the Sharks. Mm-hmm. Or the Giants,
Sure.
So, like, once these teams roll that out, dude, you gone.
Yeah.
So,
and it's kind of the same thing for us. The only reason that we have YouTube TV is because we hijacked it from a family member.
Well, and YouTube TV would be great if it was still $35. The fact that it's more than doubled in price in just 7 years is ridiculous.
I don't necessarily disagree, like in abstract terms, but I still think it's the best. It's still the best value out there, and
it's going away quickly. But go ahead.
Would you rather have YouTube TV or would you rather have Comcast? Because I know what I
no fuck Comcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But right now, YouTube and DirecTV, if you like get that introductory rate or whatever for a couple of years, it's almost negligible.
Sure.
So
I don't know. I think that, but also like for me, right? Like you said, you have YouTube TV to be able to watch the Sharks game. Like I could fly the pirate flag if I wanted. Right,
to.
but like so for me, like I have, I'm obviously not in that market. I don't know if you knew this or not, and so I catch the Sharks game through the NHL package, like through the Disney bundle. And I'll tell you this, even if the NHL package was not part of the Disney bundle, I still think the Disney bundle is really, really good value for streaming. So the fact that you get the NHL package with it is like an insane value, if you ask me.
Oh, it's a cherry on a chocolate cake.
Yeah, so like I want to watch the Sharks game. I fire up Hulu and I'm just like, all right, check it out. Randy and Drew, no thanks, goodbye. I'm gonna watch the Winnipeg Jets broadcast. I love Randy and Drew. I just hate the channel. And so it's beautiful. It's right there. And the one thing that is kind of goofy, I will say this. So when the Sharks play Vegas, I can't watch the game on Hulu because I'm in Vegas.
Yeah.
But YouTube TV doesn't carry the channel the Golden Knights are on. So I'm kind of pinched on that one. But other than that, it like you said, it works in the exact way that I need it for what I need it for. And, like I said, this is these are your marching orders. If you're listening, cancel cable.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Puck Guy is saying, could the NFL go behind a paywall? And it's no, because the NFL is swimming in fucking money.
Their TV deals are really, really lucrative.
Yeah, they're never going behind a paywall. The one thing that I've seen people losing their shit over the last couple of weeks is the fact that Red Zone started playing ads.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people are ready to cancel that. And I'm like, yeah, good luck. But anyway.
Yeah, but that's what people always say. It's like, man, you know what? Like, if they
I'm going to cancel this shit 3 weeks later. Come on over, watch this.
Right. If they do this 3 or 4 times, like, I'm going to quit,
Yeah, if they bend me over 4 or 5 more times, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, that's what it's always like. There's always like all these extra things where it's like, if they do this 4 or 5 more times, I'm going to think about maybe canceling. It's like, all right, so you've added in all these qualifiers of maybe, and I'm going to think, and like.
Yeah, I might have to open a Yelp account and like leave a bad review.
Yeah. I'm never shopping at this establishment again. And like me, it'd be like, all right, dork, later.
Thank you, Karen. Here's another one. This was fun. After getting raked all over the social media platforms for ignoring Will Smith last week when he was sitting next to Celebrini at a Warriors game, KNBR put out an article earlier this week, said, who among the big three will get a championship first? Of course, completely ignoring the Sharks, because for them, the big three is the Warriors, Giants, and Niners. But
are they wrong?
They're not wrong, but they posted this like 2 days after they referred to themselves as the Sharks leader. So it's just like, let me just say, KNBR, stay in your fucking lane. Continue to ignore hockey. We got this. We don't need your help. Fuck all the way off over there in San Francisco. We got it. We're on lockdown. Okay? Oh my God. What? Oh. I was trying to read something on the chat and I got totally distracted. In the NHL, across the board, the holiday roster freeze went into effect on Thursday. It ends December 28th. So, hey, enjoy your holidays. Don't worry that your team is going to make a trade because they can't. All right? Dude, what with the Buffalo Sabres? They have not won a game since beating the Sharks on Jumbo's retirement night. 10-3. How do you lose 13 straight games? I mean, does it not fuck with your law of averages, bro?
Well, especially when you consider like how many real high quality players are on that team.
Dude.
And that's been a nut for me that's been really hard to crack, like, for forever, dude, right? Like, I mean, in this stretch of time, they haven't made the playoffs since 2012, right? And in that time, like, so since 2013, that was the first year they missed the playoffs in this current stretch, right?
Sure.
They've had 4 general managers, and they've had 4 general managers, and they've had 6, 7, and they've had 8 head coaches, 2 of which previously coached them. So when you've had,
if my memory serves, they also had a couple significant players who aren't there anymore.
Right. So when you've had 4 GMs and 8 head coaches since the last time you made the playoffs, and to your point, a handful of players who have come and gone.
Where did Vegas get Jack Eichel from?
Makes you think.
Okay.
And again, 4 GMs, 8 coaches, a whole host of players since the last time they made the playoffs. At a certain point, you got to go higher. There's something I don't know. I don't know if
maybe it's me.
Like, I don't know if KeyBank Center was built at the site of like a radioactive meteorite or something, but
Chernobyl North.
Right, but like something doesn't smell right in Buffalo, and maybe it's the Pagulas, because again, they've had good GMs, they've had good coaches, they've had good players, and for whatever reason, they just like completely collapse all over themselves.
Dude, had one of the best goaltenders to play the game.
Yeah, and so I don't know what that ownership culture is like. You know what I mean? And you know, people always say like about the Sharks, like, oh man, Hasselplattner needs to be more involved, right?
Oh, fuck off.
Like the Buffalo Sabres, I think, are an organization where like I imagine people would be saying the opposite, where it's like, yeah, if I didn't see Terry Pegula for 12 months, like it's too soon, you know?
Yeah.
Like
that just blows me away. It's just funny how it kind of turns into Jumbo's curse, because if you think about it, wasn't the Buffalo Sabres, wasn't that the franchise that like the Sharks just could not beat for the longest time?
Yeah, the Sharks had a really hard time beating them, really until the season they went to the Stanley Cup final. And also, the Sabres was the team Joe Thornton played his first game against.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's right. And that might have been the last time the Sharks did beat them.
Certainly feels like it.
Dude. But either way, whoo, fuck. All right, so let's move on to our final NHL segment here, which I just think is great. New rules by The Athletic. These aren't all of them. These are just the ones that I liked, and want to run them by Jerk, and let's see what happens here. What happens if we make some new rules in the NHL? Doff of the cap to Bill Maher. Coaches have to serve bench minors. So if the coach loses a replay challenge, he has to walk his ass across the ice while the fans, heap all the booze upon him. And he has to sit in the penalty box for the duration. And when the 2 minutes end, he has to wait until a stoppage to walk his ass back to the bench. Are we yay or nay on this?
I'm nay only because I don't know. That just seems like weirdly goofy to me. I don't know what that would do.
I feel like it's a little gimmicky. The only reason why I'm yay is because Tortorella is still a coach in this league, and I would love to see his reaction. Like, I almost feel like he would get fined every time because he'd be waving the single-digit salute every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. No more tiebreakers for getting into the playoffs. Tiebreakers are for seeding once you make the playoffs, not for getting in. If you are tied for the final spot at the end of the season, there's a one-game playoff to be held within 48 hours after the finish of the regular season. If there are 3 teams tied, then we can use tiebreakers to decide who goes head-to-head first, and then the winner of that game plays the remaining team the next night. How are we feeling about that? I like this.
I like that idea in principle, but
it's like starting the playoffs with a game 7.
Right. I like that idea in principle, but here's the thing. Say you have let's say 2 teams are tied, right?
Sure.
And for simplistic sake, let's say the 8th place team and the 9th place team are both technically tied for 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their playoff and they win. Well, what if the winner of that game leapfrogs into 7, and then all of a sudden the new 8 and the new 9 are then tied? Like, does it just keep going round and round and round and round? Like, where do you get off the merry-go-round, Well,
I think it's, once the playoffs end, that's it. 7 through 1, those are locked in. It's the 8 and 9 thing that we're looking at. You get me?
I guess that makes sense.
All right. Either way, I think it's something that we'd be down with. If you massage it a little bit, I think we'd be up for it. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
All right. So we keep the Norris, best, evidently best offensive defenseman. Let's call it what it is. It's not best defenseman. It's best offensive defenseman. And the Vezina, best goalie. But create a new award for best forward, which I thought that already existed. But anyway, the winners of those 3 awards are the automatic nominees for the MVP. The Hart, yes?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't understand this one.
That one feels like change for the sake of change.
Thank you. That's kind of what I thought too. And I'm like, we don't need any more goddamn awards. Now, could we rename a couple of them and make them a little more current? Yes. Do you feel that way or no? Are you like, preserve the history, or like, acknowledge that maybe the Norris should be called the Lidstrom?
I don't know. So here's the thing. So I'm with you specifically on the Norris, but it's for different reasons than you might be thinking.
You
right?
don't think we could name the Vezina the Brodeur?
No, well, you could, but I don't know. That one would feel needless for me. But the Norris one, like that's the one in particular that I'm really passionate about in changing. So for those who don't know, James Norris was not a hockey player. Never played in the NHL. Never played hockey at any level that's like recorded. You know, he probably played youth hockey.
Sure.
But James Norris was the former owner of the Detroit Red Wings who bullied his way into getting some minority shares of the Blackhawks and the Rangers. So if that trophy was named after like a defenseman that was like awesome, that would make sense. But no, James Norris was a corrupt team owner in the early days of the NHL, right? So yeah, that trophy in particular, for that reason, I am down for renaming, whether it's Nicholas Lidstrom, whether it's Bobby Orr, I don't know, but I'm absolutely in favor of that, but for a different reason than what most people would probably talk about.
In the chat, Ryan says, how about a Gretzky Award for most assists?
Sure, but at a certain point, does this not get to like a point of like, if everybody's special, then nobody's special?
Yeah, and that's where I'm at too. Yeah, it's like everybody gets a car. Yeah, the NHL awards turn into an Oprah show. I'm with you. A coach can only challenge a play as offside if the puck has not changed possession. So it's like once the defending team has established possession in the zone, a goal can no longer be challenged as offside. Established possession would be the same criteria as ending a delayed penalty. This seems like this would get rid of the challenges where the offside didn't affect the goal, but still allow for challenges on things like being on things like a rush being offside. I am 100% all in on this change.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, really?
Well, again, it's the same kind of thing, right?
It
Where
just pisses me off. It's like a play goes in quote unquote offside, and we're talking by like a pubic hair of offside. They get in, it changes hands, it changes possession between the two teams a couple of times versus a turnover, ends up in the net, and then all of a sudden it's, they're challenging for offside, and it's like, bitch, you lost possession of that puck 90 seconds ago. What are you talking about?
I just feel like it's one of those things where like you get a flat tire on your bicycle, and then it's like, okay, what if like I just cut a little bit off of the other tire to patch this flat, and then it's like, oh shit, my other tire's flat. like you're just gonna like with all these rules, a lot of these rules that we're describing, like eventually you're just chasing your tail over and over and over again. So I'm kind of just like, leave it the way it is, and
all right, this one
we don't like if we don't like it, like whatever, right? But you're just kind of like, any change is probably going to make it worse in a different way. So probably just, like you said, dance with the girl you brought.
All right. What did Chris say here? New rule. Add a new trophy for AJ's Hall of Shame for the player paid a lot of money who sucks out loud. That's going to be
but there would be too many winners.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a very full trophy wall. Finally, hockey is the only sport that truly ends exactly when the clock hits all zeros. Mm-hmm. In football, a play that starts with 1 second on the clock is allowed to finish until a whistle. Rugby keeps playing at all zeros until a whistle stops play. We know basketball allows a shot to count, after zeros, as long as it was released by the shooter before the buzzer sounds. But in hockey, a last-second shot does not count if it crosses the line after the final horn, the all zeros. So this robs us of last-second drama that exists in other clocked sports. So the proposal is 1-goal games. Play continues after the clock reaches all zeros until there's a stoppage in play. This is to prevent teams who are winning from just icing the puck. I would say icing isn't a stoppage after all zeros. The game cannot end on a winning team's offside or penalty in a 1-goal game. Or at the least, what about just counting a shot? Say a defenseman got the puck at the blue line, fires the shot. The puck has left his stick, and it takes what? Fractions of a second to get from that point to behind the net. But in the interim, the game could have ended, but the guy got the shot off before the buzzer sounded. What are you thinking? Or you're very much kind of like, this is one that I might be with you, or I'm like, what they're doing is fine. Fuck off.
I would say I'm indifferent on this one. Like, if they changed it, cool. If they kept it the same, cool. Like, that one I'm definitely indifferent on.
Really?
Like, I see what they're going for, but I'm just kind of like, whatever.
For me, I'm just very much kind of like, like, this is a solution in search of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So let it go. All right. So that was cool. Let's get to that other team for a hot minute before we get out of here. Let's go.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Oh, hey now. So your San Jose Barracuda right now 16-9-2, currently in second by percentage, just behind Calgary, just a hair ahead of Ontario. Games in hand are in play, though, so check it out. The Barracuda did have 3 games this week, Coachella, and then 2 versus Bakersfield. Coachella went very well, at least after spotting Coachella the first goal. The Cuda would ring off 3 straight, which is all they would need, but not all they would get, as the Barracuda won their 5th straight against the Kraken affiliate. Goals coming from Podorowski, who had yet another 3-point game. Carlson, Gushkin, Graf, and Furlong. The Barracuda also took advantage of the extra man, scoring 3 power play goals. Beasted, Cagnoni, Graf, and Cardwell all having 2-point nights. Romanoff stopping 28 of 30. That was fantastic. And then Bakersfield. It did not go well. First off, game 1 was a 2-0 loss. Romanoff saving 29 of 31, but for the second time this season, the Barracuda were shut out. And game 2 wasn't much better, but hey, Aaron Dell in the net gets the call up, gets the start, but it wasn't a great outing after allowing the first 4 goals yet again this week. Beasted scored twice, but obviously not enough, and not great special teams either, as the Cuda went 1 for 3 on the PK. This week, the Barracuda are going to play a pair in Henderson, Nevada, against the worst team in the entire AHL. So take advantage of that, boys. Finish 2024 off right. Now, I have 2 questions. First off, is Henderson being this horrible right now eventually going to have an impact on the Golden Knights? We fucking hope so. But the other question I have, will the Barracuda get the jerk bump? Will you be attending either of these games?
It's actually funny that you say that. I've been
Hey now.
I've been meeting some very important people, as one does. And, the game on the 28th, which is Saturday, for those keeping score at home, I believe someone we all know is going to be there.
Hey now.
And I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Chris saying, new rule. AJ does a faux new rule segment a la Bill Maher. I literally said this was in, stick tap to Bill Maher. Oh, shit. Am I frozen? I haven't been paying attention
yes,
to the
you
video.
are.
Oh, well. Shit. Who cares? Seriously. As long as the audio's still there, I don't give a shit. I'll shift back to the screen capture. It's all good. Let me know. Did I freeze? And that's it's fine. Who cares? We're almost done with this. So prospects, look, nobody has really kind of stood out more than Sam Dickinson right now, who continues to impress with the London Knights. Make sure to follow Teal Town USA, Ian Reed, Sharks Jewels, Kevin Lacey on Twitter for live tweets and occasional gifting about all of those prospects that are in the system. And coming up this week, the Sharks will play in Vancouver tomorrow before getting the 3-day holiday break. And then it's boom, back-to-back games at SAP against Vegas and Calgary. And that's the first time this season the Sharks played the Flames. I can't believe we're almost halfway through the season. Haven't even seen Calgary. So let's get to oh, that's right. We have a giveaway to do. Oh, but before that, we have a tweet of the week. And I don't know that I've ever had this before, but the tweet of the week is going to me. So earlier this week, I started watching. Have you seen the show on Netflix called A Man on the Inside?
No.
Fun show, right? It's not provocative in any way, shape, or form, but it's fun. It's about older people and retirement home and blah blah blah. But it's a Netflix show, and they one of the episodes they reference the Sharks, as you can see by the tweet and the screen cap on the right. That reminded me, oh, there was an episode of Wednesday, also produced by Netflix, where there was a reference to the Sharks. So all I did was I took a screen cap of both, and I said, man, I'm dying to know who the massive Sharks fan is over at Netflix, because they're being brought up. You would not believe the amount of people who don't follow me, but felt the need to tweet me and go, just to let you know, Netflix is in San Jose. First off, bitch, I know where Netflix is. It ain't San Jose. It's Los Gatos. Now, granted, they're right next to each other, but still, facts matter. But just the fact that there were all these people that, that don't follow me, they've never interacted with me at all, for whatever reason, decided this is the day I'm going to interact with this fool. Fuck off. Well, I decided to see if it would unfreeze and did it. You know what? Just know that during the holidays, I'm looking at getting a new computer. It should hopefully fix all this shit. Let's go to a giveaway. All right, so the giveaway this week is going to be the Hawaiian shirt, which, of course, everybody loves, and a This Is Sharks Territory sign autographed by William Macklin. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're giving it away. You have to be a live viewer, and you have to put the answer into the live chat. None of this, I'll watch it in 3 days and submit something to hockeyjerk10@gmail, right? None of that shit. So,
if you send it to me, you're probably not going to get a response.
You're going to get nothing. So, the giveaway is, there was a game. Yaroslav Halak, most saves in a period. How many all-time... Let's go back to the... Askarov had a game, most saves in a period, but there was one other player that we mentioned earlier in this cast that had one more save than him. So my question is, in that game that Wade Flaherty did it, how many all-time Sharks played in that game? And who was the starting goalie opposite Flaherty? If you come up with the number and the name and put that in the chat, and you're correct, you will win. So while we're waiting for that, remember to like and subscribe. Help keep us commercial-free using that super chat option like Skylar did earlier during our live shows. Better yet, you can find us on Venmo at Tealtown USA. Find links to our social media, podcast apps, and more included in the show notes. And you can find everything on tealtownusa.com. Find us on Blue Sky as well. And so, again, we talked about a game that Wade Flaherty set the franchise record for most saves in a period. I know that there are people that are furiously Googling right now. My question is to you. How many all-time Sharks played in that game, and who was the starting goalie that faced Flaherty? Bring it on, people. What is this? Dead viewers. I don't know anything about that. So while we wait for that, how you spending your holidays, my man?
Holidays, spending, just Honestly, just chilling. Not not traveling anywhere, not doing anything super crazy or spectacular. Just hanging out with family, taking some time off, eating good food, all the normal shit.
Nice. You're gonna appreciate what I'm doing.
Tell me.
Tomorrow morning, me and my wife, Thunder Valley, baby.
Nice.
Yeah, gonna head up, do a little gambling, for a couple days, and because I gotta tell you, dude, last couple times I've been in Nevada, whether it was like Reno, Tahoe, Vegas, shit, dude, when the hell did you during COVID? All the people said, you know what, the table minimums are too low, $25 for everything. I was like, what? Bye.
Yeah, really since COVID, things have kind of gotten out of hand on that front. At least in Vegas. I can't speak for anywhere else in Nevada, but
so ridiculous. All right, so let's see. A guy and his dog says Patrick Waugh 8. I'm not trying to upset you or anything. I'm just gonna say, to paraphrase Eric Carlson, not even close.
So say the question again.
So the question is, there was a game that happened between the Sharks and the Avalanche.
Yep.
And Wade Flaherty set the franchise record for the Sharks for most saves in one period.
Yep.
I want to know how many all-time Sharks played in that game and who the goaltender was at the other end of the ice when the game began.
So what do you mean by that? How many all-time Sharks played? What do you mean by that?
So I'm saying there were how many when you start a hockey game, how many players are on one side?
Like on the ice or on the lineup?
That play in the entirety of the game. You've got 4 forward lines, 3 defensive pairs, and a goalie. How many is that?
12 forwards, 6D, and 2 goalies, technically.
Okay, so I'll give you play on the number then. But to me, it's 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, a goalie.
Sure.
How many players is that? 19.
19.
But perhaps there were some players on the opposing team that ended up being Sharks at one point.
Oh, I'm with you. Okay.
Yes. So all time in that game, how many, obviously there's a free number for you. 19 is on the Shark side. There were some players on the other side of the bench that eventually wore teal. Fuck, dude, are we going to have to send this to, are we going to have to send wait for people to Google the shit out of this and then fire it off to Hockey Jerk? This is, I didn't know that this would take this long.
It is kind of a niche question.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. If I'm doing it live,
do it live.
But I don't want it to be something that is super easy to Google. How many shots did Celebrini have over the last 10 games? You can do that real fucking fast. But I didn't want to do one of the, okay, how many shots are the Sharks going to have over the, none of the future prediction shit. I just wanted to have, you know what? Fuck it. Okay.
Well, hold on. I'm actually working on the answer, so maybe I posted somewhere secret and somebody's got to find it.
No. I'll even do it here. I'll even take this away. You don't even have to get the number of players. In the game that Wade Flaherty set the franchise record for most saves in a period by a Shark, who was the starting netminder for the opposing team? He was playing the Colorado Avalanche. See, in Chris Martin saying that's a hard one, AJ. Again, I'm not here to make it easy. I only have one Eklund sign. I'm going to make you work for it. I think that's fair. If you want me to give you the fucking answer, then I'll give you a Cody CC sign.
I have the answer. I'm going to drop it somewhere really obscure and see if someone can find it.
What, on Blue Sky? And do you have both answers or just the one that I'm now looking for?
Both.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm interested in seeing if you nailed it or not. And Big Bird is incorrect. But good try. I mean, Christ almighty. Come on, people. I
get what you're saying, not wanting an easy one, but this one is too hard. I feel like
no. See, I don't think it is, because you know why? If you listen to the whole show at the beginning, I literally said after, when we were talking about the game where Askarov was the first guy to like save that many since this, it was, okay, he set the record. And it's, okay, Stu, thank you. Thank you. Stefan Fiset. All right, that's the guy. That's the name I was looking for, baby. That was the goalie at the other end. But I literally said at the beginning, I was like, Wade Flaherty, it was a game against Colorado, the 96 season, when Colorado eventually won the cup. Like, literally all you would need to do is Google games between the Avalanche and the Sharks between, January 96 and April 96. That's all you would need to do. And see, in California Cruisin' saying Wah and Fiset split the game pretty much down the middle, which they did. But if you go back and listen to the way that I phrased the question, it was who was the starting goaltender that was opposite Flaherty, which was Fiset. And all-time Sharks that played in the game, 19 for the Sharks, 3 on the Avalanche. Who were they? Ozolinsh, Ricci, Claude Lemieux. Ba-boom. So, Stu, what? Hold on, what's his name? Stu Sugas. Love it. Chief, Stu, are you on the Twitter? If you're not, you better get on it and find me over there. Send me the DM or Teal Town USA. That's even better. Send your mailing address. That way we'll get you off the and make sure you put in the subject line whether it's email or aj@tealtownusa.com. That's fine. Put in there from Stu Sugas. Put your real fucking name and mailing address. Put, subject line, I won the Eklund signed. We'll get you the autographed Eklund Shark. Hold on, I'm trying to read and speak at the same time. Eklund autographed Shark sign and a Hawaiian shirt. So, congratulations. We'll probably do another one next week before the end of the year. With that, Jerkman, dude, aside from the cameras freezing up, this is a lot of fun, man. Been too long, brother.
Yeah, it was nice nice to get back in the chair and terrorize you for another 2 hours, and it was great.
Dude, love that. Well, let's be honest, if it wouldn't have taken these people so much time to figure out the answer, we would have been out of here already.
Maybe.
So, again, as always, like and subscribe, blah, 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 blah. He is at hockey_jerk on the Tweety. I'm AJ_strong on the Tweety, but, I'm not really paying that much attention. Stu, again, AJ@TealTownUSA. Fire off it. If you're not on X, you better have fucking email. If you don't, well, then you're just not winning the prize, and we're going to hand it out to somebody else next week. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to give you so many options, and then we're done. What is the all-time Teal Town highest super chat? That is a great question. I don't know if that was on a Pucknologists or if that was like, was that maybe during a draft show? Wasn't there somebody who was like, like John Holmes, like wanted to show how big their dick was and like fucking tipped us out like $99 or something?
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't remember exactly how much it was.
I remember there was one particular show that for some reason people were tripping over themselves to like, you tip $2, I'm going to tip $3. And then somebody else said, I'm going to pay $5. And somebody said, I'm going to do 10. And then I think it got up to like 25. And then somebody was just like, nobody's topping this. And dude dropped like 99 or 100 or whatever. And if I remember correctly, like the comment was like, beat this, bitches. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I want to say it was probably about $100. If my memory serves me correctly. I think that's what it was. And it was awesome. So with that, like I said, the Sharks are playing tomorrow against Vancouver. It's going to be a big game. Macklin Celebrini, kind of a coming home party for him. I know there's going to be a lot of family there. So make sure you check that out. And then after that, hey, get a nice few days off. Happy holidays to all of you who have joined us so far this season. Hope to see you again as we get through the silly season. We move on to the new year, get to 2025, and hey, we're going to be talking about hopefully Zetterlund getting a very worthwhile contract. Maybe we're going to see Askarov. I don't know, man. Maybe take the wheel from Vanecek and Georgiev. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But we thank you so much for joining us tonight. And with that, Hockey Jerk, I say to you, good night and have a very pleasant tomorrow. To all of you watching, I say to you,